Hello and welcome to Biltys Business Book Review number 20. Stopping at the, no particular order, just where I got them. I've got loads more I could do as well, may carry on a bit later. But this one is actually 3 books, all by a guy called Gary Hamel. And Gary Hamel is a professor in, like they all are, kind of, that do Harvard Business Review. They're in Harvard. And I saw him once. And it was dreadful. I mean, honestly, the books are miles better than seeing him live. There's loads of stuff on the internet on him. I just came across as falsely kind of just trying too hard to me, but that's me. So the 3 books that I've got here: Competing for the Future, the first one, Leading the Revolution, and the one that you won't be able to read is The Future of Management, which is the latest one. There's another one coming out in August, I think, which I will inevitably buy because it really captures the moment. It's only about 2 things. It's about management and grasping the future, and how you can use the changes that are around you to your advantage and not atrophying. Certainly companies I've worked in before in the print industry, it was a real command and control, and we all know that that's nonsense. You know, to have a creative, living, authentic kind of feeling sentinel thing which people want to work for, it's got to be all of those things. It can't be contrived command and control. It can't be divide and conquer and all those kind of glib things that people, but that's what much of management's about. Or historically, it's a Taylorian. There's a guy called somebody Taylor who divided it into elements and managed it based on certain key metrics, which obviously KPIs are important. But in a world where you need to work with people and ecosystems and networks, and not just networks in terms of people, but network integration and trust and shared data, obviously on an unattributed way, because you've ended up with, you've got all sorts of GDPR, privacy issues if you obviously share client data, but unattributed data sets and analytics, and looking at the, going back to the 80-20 revolution, looking at the disaggregating into the bits that make the biggest difference and managing and enthusing people in a empowering way rather than a crushing way. He covers it all off in here, and Gary Hamel, I do like his style. You can see by the amount of kind of turned over corners and all that kind of stuff. It's a good read, and it makes you think as you're going along. And I've always got loads of scribbles in the front of them, things that we've done in web. Some work, some haven't worked, but they're really kind of interesting to have a look at as a business person to review as well, going back. So Gary Hamel, he is one of the leading thinkers. He knows it, and he gets a bit on me wires as a consequence of that when I watch it, but really thought-provoking. So if you're wanting to come out of this experience, this is obviously a very clear reflection point that we're all going through. The good thing about this is that the future is for you as much as anybody else. There's a saying somewhere, the best way to deal with the future is to make it. And with a high degree of uncertainty, nobody has got a divine right to be successful, to stay in business. We have got to reinvent ourselves. The way we do business, the reason we do business, the way we attract, retain talent of the right kind of talent that you need to future-proof your business. All of these challenges are out there. And what I'm going to move on to now is the kind of experiences from tomorrow of WebMart. And the kind of Marxist capitalist business model. I know that turns off as many people as it turns on. Certainly in America, you talk like that, and they're like, whoa, thus far and no further. So I need to come up with a slightly, probably more sanitized version for the book. But the point is, there are certain key themes that run through it that I think are relevant for all businesses now. as you're trying to recreate the market opportunity that you may have had before, and with the change in the world, you're struggling to attract the right talent that you need to take your business forward, to do resource allocation within. You've got 100% of the cost of a business to run the business. You probably don't need the same talent now as you did 2 months ago, because the customers that you'll be dealing with, you'll be acquiring, and the way you're interacting with your new customers will be different from what it was 2 months ago. So instead of burying our heads in the sand, we've got to be savvy to this and allocate. We can't, unless you're a really lucky person, you can't just randomly throw lots of money at it. You need to use the money that you've got and move it from one area to another area within your business, so you keep your cost base right. But hopefully you've got a, as they say, scaled or a rapid opportunity to expand without investing in huge amounts of capital equipment, new offices, or people. I mean, offices, again, you're looking at it and you're saying, well, actually, what do we actually need going forward? So there may be some cost savings there. Certainly at Webmart, we've seen in this time a huge amount of cost saving from not having an office. Now, that isn't the same as, and not travelling around, and that isn't to say that we wouldn't want to go back to that, because it was part of our DNA, and it was really, there's good stuff happened uniquely because of the yellow shed of wonderment. But you do have to think about everything from a bottom up. We used to have a thing called a ZBB, a zero-based budget.